I know a lot about overdose and addiction in general. And I would say, especially since fentanyl has hit the scene, there, in my opinion, there has at least 90 to 95% of overdoses, there is another story behind it.
I'm Flindt Andersen, founder of Pain, Parents and Addicts in Need. I've been in recovery since 2001, and there isn't much I don't know about recovery. And my mission is to constantly tell the truth about addiction, to make the realities of addiction, recovery, and drug culture known, and to drive awareness and advocate change that ultimately saves lives.
And I'm Jason LaChance, a certified recovery coach with a passion for speaking with others and sharing their knowledge to help others seek recovery and maintain long-term sobriety. And this is the Don't Hide the Scars podcast, presented by Pain, Parents and Addicts in Need. Welcome to the Don't Hide the Scars podcast. Of course, I'm Jason LaChance. The handsome man on the other end is the one and only Flindt Andersen, founder of Pain, Parents and Addicts in Need. I'm liking that shirt today. I'm getting more into the collared button-up shirts.
I noticed that. I noticed that. Yeah, this one's a little different, kind of not out of my realm, but yeah, it's gonna be cool.
I'm trying to grow up. You're rubbing off on me in good ways, Flindt. I'm trying to grow up here.
Well, every now and then we have to do that, you know.
Yes, sir. Well, we're going to dive right into this story on Matthew Perry. You know, I had reached out to you and asked if you had seen the news.
They knew what they were doing was wrong. They knew what they were doing was risking great danger to Mr. Perry, but they did it anyways.
Nearly a year after the death of Friends star Matthew Perry, a stunning development. 5 people, including 2 doctors, charged in connection with the actor's fatal ketamine overdose.
You had said this, like you had told me that there is people that were going to be connected to him that were part of his death, and that it was going to definitely be an overdose related thing. And that's what happened. 5 people charged in Matthew Perry's death in the investigation. I mean, acute effects of ketamine.
Yeah. Look, I would say, and again, please nobody quote me on these numbers, but like everybody knows, I've been around a long time. I know a lot about overdose and addiction in general. And I would say, especially since fentanyl has hit the scene, there, in my opinion, there has at least 90 to 95% of overdoses, there is another story behind it somewhere. Look, when you're talking about, and again, in today's world, we're talking about accidental overdoses, especially as it pertains to fentanyl. Accidental poisonings, now we're calling them, because the language had to be changed in order for our justice system to prosecute drug dealers. But these accidental, quote, accidental overdoses, in my opinion, usually happen when that 17-year-old or 25-year-old or 30-year-old, you know, is not a drug user. And yeah, in the early days of fentanyl, you know, they went and bought something. They went and bought a pill. And in particular, Xanax, that was the big one, because it still wasn't like going and buying a Percocet or an Oxy or anything else. But they got that dose of fentanyl that killed them. And again, that was a thing, and it still could be. I'm not saying that it really is too much anymore. And then you have to take a look at overdoses in general, because and you always have to ask yourself this question. If a young person went out to buy a Percocet and got a dose of fentanyl, why were they buying the Percocet in the first place?
Right.
What was leading up to that? Now, when I have investigated some of these overdoses, normally what has happened is that a story comes behind it months and years later to where, oh, I'm sorry, that young person or that person in general was away from home, not living in their city, okay, whether they were going to school, not going to school, whatever the case may be. There were instances, even when a friend of theirs would call a loved one of the person that was using and say, hey, mom and dad, okay, you know, young Billy here is in trouble.
Yeah.
We're just letting you know he or she is in trouble. You might want to try to do something here.
Right.
Okay. So whenever these overdoses come to light, you have to wait a little bit of time. You have to wait for the autopsies to come out. You have to wait for the real story to emerge.
Yeah.
And by the way, Jason, there's a reason why families say it's an accident. That
Sure.
Again, I'm not. What I am saying is people don't want to die. Okay. And that's what I'm saying. They don't want to die. But there's something else going on a lot of the time. Because again, as intelligent human beings, we have to ask ourselves, well, what were you doing out there buying that drug to begin with?
Yeah. Yeah. I get what you're saying. It's not, they do not want to die, but there is some reason, compulsion to use.
Correct. Now, that whether that's because they are already addicted to something, keep in mind, because I am a recovering opiate addict, if I'm going through withdrawal symptoms, I'm going to go find something. End of story. I'm going to go find something. Even if there is a possibility that that pill that I'm buying or that powder that I'm buying is laced with something. We know as people in active addiction that that is a possibility. But none of us are ever going to know that. The other world out there, the people that aren't addicts, they're not going to understand it, and they're going to go, no, that's not the way it is. That is the way it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, and again, I understand it from the family standpoint. When that happens, and God forbid it happened, God forbid it should happen to anybody else. But when that happens to someone's child or someone's spouse, the first thing they're going to do is deny the fact that that loved one had a drug problem. Not always, but a lot of the time.
Yeah.
And in today's world, today's society, you can't hide that.
No.
You cannot hide that. I don't care how good you are. So guess what? The real story is going to emerge at some point. And that just brings up another kind of point here about like these 5 idiots, okay, that helped Matthew Perry to his death.
Mm-hmm.
It's ruined their families.
Yeah.
I don't care about the 5 guys, okay? Because in my opinion, they're criminal. That's a criminal act. As a doc, first of all, I am dead set against, like Michael Jackson's case. I am dead set against concierge doctors.
Right. And
especially the ones that have that relationship with a celebrity.
Yeah. Yeah, the Michael Jackson, what a great point of how clouded the judgment was there. You know,
Right.
I mean, he just kept loading him up over and over and over.
But now you get again, and everybody kind of gets this. You have to ask yourself why he's loading them up, because the man's getting paid $20,000 or $30,000 a month.
Yeah, and why is he? And in addition to that, why would you have to continue to load the guy up? Well, because you've now made him an addict, and his tolerance has gotten that high. Michael Jackson didn't get to that sad point of the amount that was in his system that killed him that day. This wasn't new.
This was not new. Right. His body just finally said, nope, I can't take anymore.
Yeah.
The body just can't take anymore. And off he went.
Yeah.
But so those physicians have crossed the line of don't do no harm. I mean, they signed that oath.
Mm-hmm.
That's the first responsibility of any physician or dentist. Do not do any harm. Well, they did by the minute they accepted that role to become that celebrity's personal physician.
Yep.
Because as a human being, how do you turn down all that money?
Yeah.
So don't do it in the first place. Don't do it in the first place. But again, not everybody's moral. Not everybody has ethics. Not everybody is an upright, standing citizen anymore.
If you or a loved one is struggling with addiction, please call PAIN, Parents and Addicts in Need, at 559-579-1551, or visit us online at painnonprofit.org. Follow us on social media on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Pain Nonprofit. And please subscribe to the Don't Hide the Scars podcast and share with others wherever you get podcasts and on YouTube. And if you would like to donate to PAIN, Parents and Addicts in Need, please click the link in the description to make your tax-deductible donation today and help us save more lives gripped by addiction.
It seems that so far what they've been able to uncover is over $60,000 in cash that was spent on the ketamine. I mean, this individual, Jazz V, sang, who the Ketamine Queen they call her, and then it was a doctor in Hollywood and another doctor in Santa Monica, and the multitude of it, in addition to Perry's live-in assistant, that it was something like 70 vials, $60,000 for ketamine.
Right. But do you see the pattern? It's like what I used to do in the old days.
Sure.
You just can't go to one physician because they're trying to cover up the amount that they're even giving. And so I'm sure they went to Perry and they went to Michael Jackson and said, look, even Jackson, I don't think he just got it from one doctor.
I would be hard pressed to believe. I know that, Prince was a bit of a different scenario, running out and then, got the illicit, but still I'm Prince, my favorite, this, my favorite. Right. He was an addict. End of his life, he was an addict. That's what killed him.
That's what killed him. Absolutely. So, as the addict, me, that's what you have to do. You have to doctor shop. You've got more than one. You've got more than two. More than likely, you've got more than three doctors. Okay, going at one time. And especially if you're trying to get drugs out of a pharmacy.
Sure.
Because they've made it harder today to do that. In the old days, it was easy. Pharmacies weren't connected. So I could go to Dr. A over here and take that prescription to Walgreens. I could go to Dr. B over there and I could take that prescription to CVS. See the pattern? Mm-hmm. So nobody was the wiser because but today is a different story, which is a good thing. So again, it's the story behind the story that at some point is going to come to light. And Jason, the reason why we're talking about this is because we want people to know the truth about it. This is not to put down Matthew Perry. This is not to put down any celebrity or any other person, all right, that has died of an overdose. That's not the point here. The point here is to explain what addiction is, because as both you and I have talked about ad nauseum, is the fact that the general public and even physicians, they don't understand the addict, and they don't understand what addiction truly is.
Well, and it's, to me, the other really good and interesting point that I hope people can take away from this too is when they did the toxicology report. Excuse me. Where's that at? I had bookmarked it here. I'll just be able to edit that part out. Hold on. Where is it at? Gosh darn it. All right, here we go. Yeah, the other thing I really want to point out here about this is with the toxicology report, alcohol, methamphetamine, cocaine, heroin, PCP, fentanyl were all not detected.
Yes, I saw that.
All of it. So, ketamine. It's there's been this perception, much kind of like with Suboxone, that some of this stuff is not benign. Right. And far from it. Like you said, don't do harm. Well, he had some coronary issues. All those years of drugs, he did damage to his heart.
Yeah.
So in addition to having all this stuff, which he did also have Suboxone, along with some other prescription medications that he was put on, that whole thing in the harm reduction process, which you know, we've talked ad nauseum too about the long term of it. These are the risks that can come with it. People think, oh, you guys are two dicks. We've had people, oh, you're so close-minded. I don't want to be on there because you're just so against any harm reduction. No, we're not. But this is why, and what really working with you has helped me educated on why proponents for short term.
Yes.
It was the long term that led to this.
Yes.
He had all of these medical issues. And you even said it, boy, if he got in a hot tub and he was on Suboxone and maybe the ketamine, like it can make the coronary issues worse.
Absolutely.
And so it's the lack of real education behind it, A, on just the level of what the chemicals can do to the human body, especially in conjunction with each other. B, the long-term damage physically that he did.
Right.
And C, he's an addict. The way the addict mind worked. Right. He spent $61,000 they've been able to find for 70 vials of ketamine.
By the way, that's a great point you just made. $61,000 they can find.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. As those tolerances built with ketamine and or Suboxone or any other medication that he was taking, I would venture to say that, you know, that there was a hell of a lot more. I really do. And I'm not saying that to put anybody down here, but that's a fact. Okay. You don't know what he was doing on the other side of those medications he was getting. He could have been getting them from somebody else, from some illegal source as well. Because as addicts, that's what we do. Mm-hmm. We're good at it. We're masters at it. We can hide, we can jive, we can shuck and jive all day long to get to get what we need. I mean, Jesus, okay? When are people going to wake the up? All right, and listen to what we're saying here. You know, it's I don't want to get too much on a rampage here on this one, but look, the other piece of this is or was his I'm in sobriety.
Sure.
The book.
Yeah.
The talk shows. Okay, yeah. The radio shows, whatever, and everybody's out there going, yay for Matthew Perry. And what did I say a few years ago? I said, look at his face. Look at his weight. Look how he's talking. Look how he's projecting his words. Look at this skin color. And I said it back then. There's something not right here. Mm-hmm. Because when you are in recovery, short of having any type of medical issue that's going to cause the body to gain weight, lose color, whatever the case may be, you get better. Your skin color improves. Your weight starts to come down or increase depending on where you were. But in general, you don't look like 5 pounds of in a 2-pound bag.
Yeah.
Sorry, but that's a fact. But yet again, everybody, I'm going to do it again. Everybody's clapping for Matthew Perry, okay? Saying how proud they are and good they are, okay? And at some point, so did I.
Yeah.
In the early part of it. But then it just got to be, uh-oh. Because when I look back at pictures of myself, I went through all of that. People used to tell my family, God, my God, he looks like he's got HIV. When you're 45 years old and you weigh 140 pounds and your skin color, you know, looks like a yellow writing pad, something's wrong with that picture. Again, just saying.
Yeah. It's really, it's disheartening because yes, you know, and again, we're not attacking the individual, but this disease of it and the greater awareness should be there, as well as the yes men of it all, you know? I mean, we saw it unfold too with Charlie Sheen losing his mind on TV and everybody just amusement, but being amused by it. Oh, look at this guy off his rocker. It's like, no, you should have been sad and upset.
Right.
And the worst part is those that surrounded him. And this is clearly the same situation. Those people that surrounded for what? The almighty dollar?
Right.
Okay. I mean, a man's gone. The man's gone, and now all these people surrounded. Like you said, this is now affecting all your family, and it's the thing too about addiction is those that are codependent of it and co-sign the you and your negligence. You hold you're accountable. You're liable in a lot of ways too.
Absolutely.
And they did. These people just signed off on it.
Absolutely.
70 vials.
Right.
I mean, I don't know much about.
Well, wait a minute. Let's take it a step further.
Okay.
70 vials, 70 treatment centers. Look how many treatment centers he went to.
Yeah.
It's enormous.
Yeah.
And he and when he would give these interviews, he would talk about how many treatment centers he went to and the $1 million he spent on going to them like it was a badge of honor. And those people out there that can't afford to go to one treatment center, I'm not saying that he shouldn't have money. God damn it, I don't want anybody thinking that get another letter, okay? But that is not something to brag about.
No.
Oh man, because look, I know the BS when it comes to addicts. And part of that BS is, you know what? I went to all those treatment centers because I wasn't going to give up. That's crap. Okay? That's crap. You went to all those treatment centers because A, you had the financial ability to do so. Because normally when you're going to that many, it's because all of a sudden you know you're about to get in trouble somewhere. Whether it's your family's going to come down on you, there's somebody after you financially, or maybe the public's going to find out about something. I'm going to go to rehab. But by the way, I'm not going to go to a rehab. All right, that's probably going to take care of my needs real well. I'm going to go to a rehab that's going to treat me like a celebrity and put me in a place, all right, for $100,000 a month, that I could walk out of there at any time and they're going to cater to my every whim. I'm sorry again. I'm speaking the truth here. I've seen it over and over and over again. It's even like when there's, and I've seen this a lot in younger people as well. I've heard people tell me this. I went because I needed a bed. I needed to sleep in a bed. I needed to get something to eat.
Sure.
And my parents still had my insurance policy going. Then they'd walk out of the treatment center in 5 days because they got a little rest, they got a little food in their stomach, they got some medication in their body, and now they're good to go again.
Yeah. Yeah.
See, and those when we switch gears and we kind of go over to the political side of this and trying to get treatment changed and trying to get the proper help for people, these are the things that need to be told so things can be put in place.
Yeah.
You know, addiction is a tricky deal.
Very.
Okay, it's a tricky deal, and like you and I know we're just not making any headway with it.
No.
You know, I heard an interesting. Well, we heard this from Richard the other day. You know, 2018 there was a little over 18,000 treatment centers in the United States. Today it's down to 12.
Yeah.
By the end of this year, he suspects it might be down to 9.
Yeah.
You know, because they can't make it. They can't make it because of insurances, companies paying 25 cents on the dollar. Costs are outrageously high. Insurance companies drag their asses on the payments. You know, so again, we're just kind of in that mess. But back to Perry.
Well, to add to that too is the protocols to help people, and you know, for those that may not understand, a treatment facility, you know, you have all these protocols that you have to go through and authorizations and everything else. The addictions have chemically gotten so much more complex, and then being able to address that complexity too, and without the participation of the insurance companies, whatever it is. And I mean, I can go off of my, you know, right. I'm going to say knowledge of how it all plays into each other between the pharmaceutical companies, the insurance companies, and the funding to political parties and individuals for their campaigns. It's a cluster. There's no other way to put it.
New Perceptions North, the premier drug and alcohol treatment and recovery center in Central California. A full continuum of medically supervised top quality care with programs for detox and patient residential treatment with dual diagnosis, intensive outpatient treatment, sober living support groups, and more. New Perceptions North provides adult men and women with the highest caliber of professional health care, treating each client with compassion and respect in a safe, comfortable environment to begin the process of recovery to proudly create and sustain a life without addiction. Call 559-978-1507 or visit newperceptionsnorth.com.
Somebody asked me not that long ago, you know, hey, you know, I know that you've talked about and I was talking about, well, local news, you know, Flint's been on. They'll ask him quite frequently, come on, talk about what's going on, fentanyl, a bust, whatever it is. But nationally, no, you're not going to see anything. Yeah, I've never seen anything. Why is that? And I go, number one advertiser for those networks, pharmaceutical companies. Pharmaceutical companies don't want their product connected to a story. If that's a tail story going into a commercial break or just out of the commercial break, if their ad was there for their whatever, especially like a Suboxone that's getting advertised now, you can just make a call and get it. That's right. Like, do I have to prove I'm an opioid addict? It doesn't seem like it. It seems like I can just make a call and say, well, I really need Suboxone, you know, I'm coming on. it's mind-blowing. You're not going to see it on the national news. And I'm going to tell you, that's probably why, with the exception of the people running for president, I'm not picking a side here, getting too political, but the reality is there's 3 people running, and the only one that has said anything about this has been Kennedy. And there's a reason.
There's a reason there.
And he knows why, because he's also in recovery.
Right. And he's had family members die.
Yeah, they're the Kennedys. Come on. How many?
Right?
So, folks, let's get switched on to this fact. I am telling you a fact. We are telling you facts about this.
Right. This is factual. This is not made up. This is not our opinion. All right. This is because we've lived it, we've experienced it, and somehow made it through the other side. At least for today, right? And because we don't know what tomorrow holds. But it's just a shame that we just can't even get more people in the treatment industry to agree with what we're saying, and I think deep down they do. But I also believe that they're so worried about their clientele and not having it, that a lot of people aren't going to kind of jump on our bandwagon here. I mean, we do have a lot of people that are on our bandwagon, but we need more, because I think that we are, I mean, this one I'll get a letter for. How many more groups do we need out there talking about that fentanyl is gonna kill you? Right? No, seriously. How many more organizations do we need out there going, fentanyl is deadly? No, Sherlock. Okay. I mean, how many more organizations out there, all right, are going to get on the Narcan bandwagon? Okay, not just like Melanie's law, it's now required by law, signed in January 2024, for every school district to have a program regarding fentanyl and Narcan in every classroom, and every teacher, janitor, cook, administrator to be taught how to administer it. Mm-hmm. I guarantee you, nobody has it in every classroom so far.
Oh yeah, I'm absolutely.
I went to a function Thursday morning. A friend of mine invited me for it was a breakfast for an organization here in town that really helps a lot of communities around the San Joaquin Valley. Okay. And the speaker was our new interim superintendent of Fresno City Schools, Misty Herr, and a wonderful young lady. I'm at that age now, I can call somebody a young lady, and really liked what she had to say. We talked afterwards for a few minutes. And I introduced myself and let her know, here's my card. You and I need to talk. Okay. Because Fresno Unified does not have it in every classroom. Clovis Unified is probably the closest district that has it almost in every classroom. And bravo for them. But I'm still having a hard time figuring out why these school districts don't want it in every classroom. They don't feel like the first grade, second grade, third grade. Well, yeah, they do, because the kids aren't the only person in that part of the school.
Yeah.
Janitors, delivery people, workers, whatever the case, teachers, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
And what's it going to hurt? So again, my point here is we pretty much, I believe, have the Narcan issue covered.
Yeah.
You can't swing a dead cat in this country without hearing something about Narcan. All right. I mean, everybody knows, damn near everybody knows what Narcan is. Everybody knows fentanyl is bad. Don't do it. It's going to kill you. Now it's moving on to treatment. That's the last stage.
Wow.
That's the last stage.
Yeah.
That's our last remaining hope and lifeline out there. So why are we dragging our ass on it?
Yeah. You know what I was going to throw in there too? You know what organizations we don't need more of anymore? Period, is the ones that are, well, smoke fentanyl instead of snorting it, and avoid ejecting it, and have a friend with you when you. No, we don't need any more of your bullshit on how to use a chemical that has been weaponized. That's exactly what it is. Go back to so many episodes. The previous one with Richard Tate, of us talking about that. This chemical has been put in our country as a weapon.
Yes.
Okay. Came from the Communist Party of China. They're the ones doing it. It's not, people, somebody, I forget who it was. Well, wow, you're making Chinese people sound bad. No, we're not. We're not talking about the good-natured people that go to work, do their jobs, whatever it is, and care about that. We're talking about the Communist Party of China. It's a fact. It's a plan.
Right.
And they went, who can we do business with? Wow, these cartels, they're really greedy. They'll even kill their cousins for the almighty dollar and control. Perfect. Let's get it in their hands and show them how much cheaper it is to manufacture than all the other stuff that they're pushing up into the United States.
Right.
Number one target, we are.
Right.
So can we just stop as a country with any of these organizations and putting any money? Because we've looked into it, and there's some of them, they've got like $25 million in investment. I'd like to know where that's coming from.
Sure.
It'd be really interesting if this was foreign money.
Sure.
Because it would make me wonder, what country might that be? Like $25 million to sit there and try to say, snort it instead of smoke it. Don't inject it. Have a friend. Really?
And what were those people's name again?
It was part of the dancesafe.org.
Dancesafe.org.
And
I hope every long-term harm reduction is hearing us right now. Now you got my ass all fired up. Okay. And dancesafe.org, I hope you're listening too. All right. You need to go away. Dancesafe.org and anybody that supports dancesafe.org needs to go away. I could say something more, but I'm not.
Yeah, you're not saving lives.
No, you're not. And all you got to do is go to for those of you that are out there, all you got to do is go to their website, pulled up dancesafe.org, and look at the BS that they have on their website. Because it is, I don't know how more people aren't outraged by that organization and those like it.
Yeah.
And we've got people right here in Fresno. I watch it. You watch it. We all watch social media. You know who's liking what and responding here and saying this and saying that. And we've got people right here in Fresno on one hand that are talking about, yes, the fentanyl crisis, and we need to get, let's get Narcan out, and you can't let this happen to your kid, but yet they're liking and commenting on dancesafe.org's website.
Yeah.
And their social media. By the way, guys, I know who you are.
Yeah. And you know what that does? What their modality or whatever you want to call it, it makes someone a really good, competent drug addict. That's it.
Right.
Just here's the tools to become an addict. Because again, this ain't your grandpa's pot or booze, that rite of passage of a little experimentation.
Right.
No. How many we've had people, you've helped them, have come through. Oh, first time I took fentanyl, I was hooked.
There it is.
So I don't know what that expectation around that is, or how. I don't know. I don't know if it's putting emotion before logic and being pragmatic about what this is, but we're telling you all that method is to make a better drug addict, and maybe they'll live a little bit longer.
Right.
That's
Look,
it.
It's time for everybody to get emotional about this. Emotional, factual. Have your facts like we do. And when you have those facts, it's okay to get emotional about it. Because the last thing the left wants to hear is facts.
Mm.
And I don't want to be like them. I don't want to show that anger, okay, out of a response, because whenever they lose a fight, it's the anger comes out. But this is something to get angry about. You cannot play, by the way, like the people, they know who I'm talking about. You can't play both sides of the fence here.
Yeah.
Grow a pair, pick a side. I would rather have, I would have more respect for somebody if you're just lost in la la land over here, but you're really defending the part of it that you like without being a hypocrite and without jumping back and forth. I'm not going to like what you're doing, but I'm going to have a hell of a lot more respect for you. Because this is getting to the point where even the good people are making this so much more difficult that they are causing so much of this grief that is going on. I hope that makes sense.
Perfect sense. And it's true. It's true. We've got to have we can't lead with emotion on things. So emotions got to be the indicator to maybe that our attention has been had. But we can't sit and let that drive us. We just can't. It's dangerous.
But when I'm talking about emotion, I'm talking about like the way we're talking right now. Okay.
Sure.
With the fire in the belly, right? This isn't fake. I'm not acting here. All right. I mean, I'm not putting on a show for people just so they will listen to us.
Yeah.
This has pissed me off to the point because we've been in front of legislatures, we've been in front of doctors, we've been in front of the general public, that they're not listening, okay? Because we're using a softer voice. We're using a lesser, I don't even know what to call it, all right? Other than we're being as polite as we can possibly be in this. Because you can't go, I mean, the minute you walk into Sacramento into a public health and safety meeting, you start raising your voice, they're going to throw your ass out.
Yeah.
Okay. But let me tell you something. Those idiots sitting up there, they need to be talked to like this because they're not getting it.
Yeah.
They're not getting it.
Yeah.
And I don't, wow. Even Matthew Perry, even when he was doing his thing with the book and the rehab, he was doing an injustice to everybody out there.
Mm-hmm.
I know that's harsh. I know that's harsh.
Not to me.
I know. I mean, and as people in recovery, we have to consider others. We have to. It's part of our program. It's part of how we recover. And the hope that he gave to so many, just to have it blown to hell.
Yeah.
And I know people are going to go, well, he wasn't using fentanyl, or he wasn't using opiates, or he wasn't using that. No, he found a way around it.
Yeah. It was the same shortcut. Same
shortcut. You don't use 20 vials of anything.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. That's not even in a harm reduction plan.
No. Yeah. 70 of them.
Right, or whatever it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean that's nobody's harm reduction plan.
Yeah, where does ketamine even fall in line with that? To my knowledge, never used for a detox protocol, right? I mean,
we don't. I'm sure some treatment centers do. Okay, ketamine is kind of known and kind of used, for a lot of this stuff now. Again, originally an animal tranquilizer. And I'm sure it has its use somewhere. for an 800-pound buffalo, maybe, but it's but it does have a medical use somewhere. But again, when you're but if it has the same effect as an opioid, the addict is going to experiment with it all.
Sure.
That's what we do.
Yeah.
There was a drug I haven't heard of it in years. I know it's still on the market. Okay. God, I forgot about this one. It's called Stadol. Stadol. It comes in a pill, it comes in an injectable, and it comes in a nasal spray. And it is one of the most powerful narcotics on the market. And what it does is they give it to women going into labor. They give it via the nose, because real short acting. Okay, real short acting, and knocks you right on your butt. I mean, hard. And years ago, this has got to be 30 years ago, 25 years ago. No, longer than that. My God, 30 years ago. Yeah, 30. I had a doctor prescribing that for me for some ear pain because everything was up above the neck. And he said, just squirt this into your nose, one in each nostril, and it'll make that pain go away. Not only did it make the pain go away, all right, it put me on the next planet, is what it did. Highly expensive, highly addictive. You got maybe, I don't know, I can't remember what it was, maybe 20 squirts out of the bottle, And I remember one time driving back from the Central Coast, and I used it, and I was making a turn and damn near went off the road, almost fell asleep. Right after I used it. So that kind of, again, my point, there's so many other drugs out there that the addict will experiment with. It doesn't matter if it's ketamine or Stadol or anything else. So I don't know, Jason. I just like I said, I'm at the point now where if we don't really get this message out soon enough or better, that we're going to see more people like Matthew Perry that are just going to fall by the wayside.
Yeah.
Because it's still happening. By the way, nothing has slowed down in this. I know we don't see a lot on the evening news anymore. We really don't even see things social media wise too much anymore about fentanyl. It's like, okay, well now it's just acceptable.
Yeah. I don't know when we became fine with 100,000 plus deaths a year.
Yeah, I don't know either.
But it seems that's how it's been,
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I know. It's getting scary again.
Yeah. It was funny, is just prior to us jumping on here, I wanted to look good for you, so I got a haircut for you.
I didn't.
And I was talking with my barber. He's a friend, and we got into talking about this very topic. I was telling him, I'm going to go and record the episode for Don't Hide the Scars, and this is what we're going to talk about. And he was really perplexed at, that fact that it isn't more common knowledge. And the reason being is it wasn't common knowledge to him. He's heard of fentanyl. He's aware of it. He's aware of Narcan and all those things. But the overall impact, and I was talking, well, look back at how many people we've lost in different wars and stuff. Like, come on, we're at war here. And it really, like, I saw the light go on a little bit, and I just think there's a lack of connecting the overall dots, for some people and especially, again, back to so many people don't and never will, and that's okay, understand addiction. But it most certainly shouldn't be in the people in position to prescribe medications, make public safety policy, and in the hands of the insurance companies. And I don't blame them, because you know what? The insurance companies are going to do what they can that is best for business. And
Absolutely.
that's just how it is.
Right.
If the regulations upon them changed, then they would have to change.
And they would have to change. Right. 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 There it is. So until those regulations change, they're not going to.
Yeah. Yeah. And good luck getting our current government to work with those that know the private treatment that does it right.
Right. Right. I just don't see it happening. I just don't.
No. Mr. Anderson, anything else we'd like to shift to open up the mood here a little bit?
Oh, we can talk about Granville Homes for a second,
Yes, Granville. So grateful to the whole team at Granville.
Yeah, Granville, they're one of the great organization, great home builders here in the Valley. And they support 9 nonprofits by giving away a free home every year. And 2023 we didn't, but they're back. And like I said, if you want to buy a ticket, it's $100 for ticket. Contact our office, because all 9 profits get to keep 100% of the tickets sold, which really benefits our smaller nonprofit community. Helps us continue to do the work that we need to do, and we just can't say enough. And thank Granville Homes, Darius Assemi and his staff for doing all that they do for us.
Yeah, and we also have those bundle option too, where you can, in addition to winning the home, also win that 2-year lease of a Lexus, a nice car. And hey, if you want to check out the ribbon cutting, that's as of the release of this episode, is happening on Wednesday. So I'll make sure that those details are in the podcast description, because we'll be out there, of course, for the ribbon cutting, and just honored to be a part of this once again. And it goes a long ways.
Absolutely. You bet. Thanks, Jason.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Anderson.
All right, buddy. Take care.
If you or a loved one is struggling with addiction, please call PAIN, Parents and Addicts in Need, at 559-579-1551, or visit us online at painnonprofit.org. Follow us on social media on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Pain Nonprofit. And please subscribe to the Don't Hide the Scars podcast and share with others wherever you get podcasts and on YouTube. And if you would like to donate to PAIN, Parents and Addicts in Need, please click the link in the description to make your tax-deductible donation today and help us save more lives gripped by addiction.